Oh, hi guys. Welcome to the AudioPhiles. Big episode today, all the way from Australia. As you can see, I've got a package. This is EMI's 20th anniversary Sgt. Pepper album. And this is a special one, special episode today. I want to talk about this copy. I'm going to unbox it, play it, and give you my review.
Hi everyone and welcome to the AudioPhiles. My name is Steve. Thanks for joining me again. Now if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do now. As you probably know, and if you don't know from not watching my channel, I'm giving away the 50th anniversary Abbey Road box set once my channel subscriptions hit 1,000. So please click on that subscription button now. Guys, thanks for joining me. You're probably wondering, what the heck's this guy talking about? Poor man, Sgt. Pepper Poor Man's pressing. What is that all about? So that's what I wanted to explain to you today. You all probably know I'm a big Beatles nut, big Beatles enthusiast. Been following the Beatles since I think I was 12, 11 years old. Good old little Canadian boy, buying Beatles records, almost every week with my allowance over that time period. So the one record that I knew about for years, but of course, couldn't get a hold of, was, I think, the rarest Sgt. Pepper album. It's the Audio 5 version. It's an Australian pressing. They pressed 490 copies of this album back in 1983 for a Sydney, Australia hi-fi show, so it wasn't available at any record store. Now, this album was actually mastered and cut by a fellow by the name of Don Bartley, and at the time Abbey Road Studios didn't give him the master tapes, but they gave him a one-to-one copy of the master, and he was able to use that copy, and he mastered and cut the 497 pressings of Audio 5s for this hi-fi show. And right now in Discogs, they're around $1,500. There is one available. Like I said, there's 497 that were pressed for this show. Now, I have not listened to a copy of this pressing. I don't feel I want to buy one for $1,500, but why I'm saying I have a poor man's copy is this. I'm going to show you. This is the 1987 20th anniversary EMI pressing out of Australia that came out to, of course, celebrate the 20th anniversary of this Sgt. Pepper album. Now here's the album cover. Not much different than any of the ones you've probably seen other than this right here. It says special limited edition in colored vinyl. Now this was limited to 9,000 copies back in 1987. What makes this one special is that, as mentioning in the Audio 5 version pressing, which is only 497, Abbey Roads gave Don Bartley, the master engineer, the one-to-one copy tapes. Now, the same tapes were used to press this album, which is kind of interesting. Of course, not mastered the same, but the same tapes are used. So I was always wondering, this has been called the poor man's version. Why is that? So I had a good listen to it. And I've compared it today. So I've compared this copy to my mobile fidelity copy, which was mastered and cut by Jack Hunt in 1983. I've also compared it to my 1983 reissue Canadian Capital copy. And I've also done a comparison to the 2017 Giles Martin remix, which was also mastered by Miles Showell, and it was all half-speed mastering as well through Abbey Road Studios. So that's what I want to talk about and give you sort of a breakdown of which I feel is the best sounding stereo version of Sgt. Pepper. And you got to remember, Sgt. Pepper was a mono version, and if you really want sort of the real true sounding Sgt. Pepper album, I would advise to go out, if you don't already have it, buy the 2014 mono pressing. It's incredible. That is my go-to copy, okay? Because I mean, when George Martin and Jeff Emmerich mixed the stereo version for mass production, I think they spent 2 to 3 hours on it only. So that's why it's really interesting to go and hear the new 2017 50th anniversary remix that George's son Giles did as well, because that I want to talk about with you guys as well. Yeah, so I did a little bit of a comparison, so everyone you know, can make up your own minds, but just wanted to show you what I came up with actually based on these stereo versions. Like I said before, if you're going to listen to Sgt. Pepper, sort of the authentic Sgt. Pepper, I would stick with the 2014 mono version or an original UK version. I do have the 2014 mono version. Sounds fantastic. That is my go-to copy. But in terms of comparisons here of the stereo ones, now I have this one here. I paid $90 for it. Just got it today. You guys are in my mailbox. You saw it as well. This is the 20th anniversary EMI pressing, limited to 9,000. Sounds great. The bass kicks in right out of the gate. Very, very nice vinyl. I was surprised considering it was colored vinyl. Very quiet. Has a wonderful sound stage, a lot of clarity. And I think that, yeah, I mean, if you want to listen to a copy that's, you know, true to the master tapes, now I can't compare it to the AudioPhiles version, but I think this one sounds fantastic. And I will tell you, it actually sounds better than my mobile fidelity pressing. I'll go to that one next. You guys all know this one. Mobile fidelity released this one and pressed it in 1983. It was mastered and pressed by Jack Hunt. Now, sounds great, but the bass isn't there. It just doesn't have the same bass that I hear on the EMI Australian pressing. So I found that very interesting as well. I listened to this one about 4 times. I feel that this one sounds great. Again, it's got the JVC Super Vinyl. Very quiet vinyl as well. But I mean, if I was to compare it in terms of overall sound quality, bass, vocals, Ringo's drums, some of the rhythm guitar that you hear from George, or lead guitar from George and rhythm guitar from John, I would say the EMI pressing, the 20th anniversary pressing, overall is better. Now I can't even imagine what the AudioPhiles version must sound like, but again, still a great album, great pressing, but I wouldn't go out and buy this one. You don't need to, unless you're a mobile fidelity enthusiast and you need this for your collection, but it's definitely not one that I'd go out and buy and spend the money for. If I was to choose between the mobile fidelity and the EMI 20th anniversary colored vinyl pressing, definitely go with the 20th anniversary pressing. That would be my pick. Now, I also compared it to my, probably don't notice the difference here. This is my 1983 Canadian Capitol reissue. Now, I didn't find a lot of difference in the sound between my mobile fidelity and this pressing. I played it over and over again. I played it through my speakers. I played it on my headphones just to see if I could tell the difference. The bass sounds similar. Mobile fidelity's vinyl maybe a little bit quieter, but overall, I mean, I didn't hear much of a difference. Where I did hear more of a difference with the EMI version, where I heard the bass was a lot more clear. The vocals were clearer as well. So yeah, if I was to pick right now, number one, like I said, the EMI version. Mobile fidelity, it's okay. I wouldn't run out and get it. I definitely wouldn't run out and get it. But I mean, if you really want a true stereo version and not worry about spending the money in all these, I mean, basically buy the Giles Martin version. Here it is here. Pressed and released in 2017. Giles Martin remixed this. Now it's in true stereo, so you hear the vocals. The sound stage is clear, very clear. You hear the vocals in both speakers, whereas originally you're gonna hear most of the vocals on one side. I believe it's on the right side most of the time. So on this version here, the 2017 50th anniversary remix, it is clear, it is loud. The bass, you can really hear the bass. You can really pick up on Ringo's drumming way more in this version than the other three that I've compared today. So again, if you really want the go-to copy, the stereo version of the Beatles Sgt. Pepper, just go out and grab a copy of this version here. Again, it was mastered by Miles Showell, half-speed mastered. Great copy, great value, sounds incredible. This one you can't beat. I mean, it's almost comparing apples to oranges, I know, because I mean, it is a remix. And I mean, I think if George Martin were to go back and spend more time remixing this in stereo, I believe this is what the Sgt. Pepper album would have sounded like at the time back in '67. So his son Giles did it. This is the album. All in. You need to buy this one if you're looking for a Sgt. Pepper album. This is the one to buy. Now I know there's other ones out there, like I said, the AudioPhiles version, very expensive at $1,500. There's the Nautilus Supercut. I think that one's going for $1,700 on Discogs right now. And interesting enough, the Nautilus Supercut was a mail order promotion record. Now that was actually mastered and cut by Jack Hunt, who also mastered and cut the 1983 Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs version. So I'm curious to know how much different this album would sound to the Nautilus one. So if anyone knows or anyone can compare, just put it in the comments below. I'd be curious to know as well. So yeah, that is my take on it right now. And then one last pressing I wanted to discuss was Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs UHQR pressing, limited to 5,000. Now that was cut not by Jack Hunt. It actually was cut by Stan Rickers at Half Speed Mastering. Now, I have heard that copy before. It does sound fantastic. I unfortunately do not own a copy, but it is limited to 5,000, has about, I think right now on Discogs, about $1,000 they're going for as well. So that's another stereo version you can look at as well. But, just to wrap things up, I think, again, the Giles Martin remix, #1 in my books in terms of the true stereo sound. #2 is the EMI 20th anniversary. #3 is the Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs, the 1983 pressing, mastered and cut by Jack Hunt. And then, of course, yeah, look at the Nautilus Supercut. Look at the Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs UHQR pressing as well. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you haven't already, check out Facebook, check out the Mobile Fidelity and AudioPhile Buy and Sell Club. Lots of great deals on there. If you're an audiophile vinyl collector or lover and you want to buy or sell, check it out right now. And hopefully that can really help you find some really obscure or really rare albums that you're looking for. So until next time, turn that music up and play it loud. We'll see you again.